resolution, which is, I'm going to give the report on the, at the meeting, but we have a bid resolution so O'Brien and Gear go out to bids for the emergency water line replacement. Everything okay with that?
Sure.
Then we have attorney residency requirement. We are going to the whole Chautauqua County for both the attorney and the public works supervisor residency requirement, just to open up our scope a little bit. Then we have the creation of one-time sick bank for Jennifer Marks Mikula. You know, she's been out with surgery, so some of her co-workers are good enough to give her some time.
That's nice.
And then authorization of 5 volunteer firefighters to participate in the fire and emergency medical mutual aid programs, Chautauqua County Special Teams. That's a long title.
Can you let us know what exactly that entails?
The County Water Emergency Team, the hazmat team, the
Electrical.
search and rescue team.
Also, we have members that are just members of those groups that we are authorizing to do.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Authorizing
The
and
biggest issue is
covering.
They want assurance that while our members are participating in those activities, that they're still covered under the
Covered
village's
under the
insurance, which they are.
insurance. Then we have a waiver of 30-day notification period requirement for the filing of the application with the New York State Liquor Authority.
Who's that for, and can we
I
can do
give you
that?
the
I have not looked at that
is
one, That's not one that I wrote,
Okay.
so I'm not sure.
the Beaver Club,
Find it right now.
Beavers Club, Beavers Club.
Beaver Club's renewing its liquor license, right? Is that what it
Yeah.
is?
It's right here.
And then we have a hiring of 2 part-time firefighters. You want to talk to that a little bit? Okay.
I think I've talked to.
What are the qualifications? Are they paramedics currently? Is
Yes,
that what, do you have, are they have to be on a civil service list to be hired for part-time too?
we have a competitive civil service list that I've gone off of, yes.
And then we have hiring of Jim Sirota as interim deputy treasurer. Mr. Sirota is doing an excellent job, coming every day to the village hall and reviewing the budget, every aspect of it. Now, we run into some complications. The main one was that I tried to get some extension for the filing of the state report. However, they need the signature of a treasurer or somebody who has a treasurer title. So, did I tell you that they emailed me back? Yes. No, I didn't. Yes, they emailed me back and they need, apparently nobody told them that, Mrs. St. George has resigned. So they need a treasurer's signature. And we thought about it a little bit, and then it made perfect sense to name him, to hire him as a deputy treasurer until we have an actual treasurer. And then, you know, you can call the state and make all these phone calls that I made last week. So, okay, questions with that?
It's a good idea.
All right. And then, with his recommendations, we have some budget transfers. As I understand, they are for 2017, 2018 year. So we're going to do this tonight. And finally, call for a public hearing for local law number 3-2018 to amend Chapter 179 of the Fredonia Village Code entitled Housing Standards. Now you have the law, so the law is presented tonight to you and to the people of the village in its entirety.
Chair? That was in the packet tonight, Mayor? Okay.
I'd like to make a request to eliminate a sentence from the housing standards document.
Eliminate, excuse me, what?
I'd like to eliminate a sentence from the housing standards document. So, on 179-89, item F.
89 and.
I don't have 89.
179, responsibilities of the occupants?
I
Yes.
didn't get that page.
So, in the sentence reads, extermination of insects, rodents, or other pests within his dwelling unit if his unit is the only one infested in the premises.
So who's to be responsible for that?
The landlord, not the occupant. So, in the present law that this is replacing, makes this a responsibility of occupants, but my thought is that the occupants of some rental positions are physically disabled or young and wouldn't be in a position to make a decision about how to deal with extermination of rodents, particularly. So I think that's discussed under the responsibility of landlords. The landlord is responsible for the entire building, but this in the laws that exist at this very minute makes this a responsibility of the occupant, and this does not seem reasonable to me.
So, what do you think?
I think that makes sense. I think if you're a college student and you're in college student housing and your apartment has whatever, I think it seems to me to make sense that the landlord would take care of that.
The building owner is responsible for the building. I mean, you wouldn't ask if a bird flew into the window and broke the window, it's not the tenant's responsibility to fix the window. These are things that I would assume be covered under the landlord's total responsibilities of upkeep of the building.
All right, not to contradict anything, but let me throw another scenario out here. It says keeping with domestic animals and pets in appropriate manner and under control. Let's just say they allow cats in the apartment and all of a sudden the cat has fleas and then infests the apartment with fleas. Would that be the responsibility of the building owner to remove the fleas?
That's a good question.
If this section was deleted, yes. It would be it would fall back on the building owner.
I think that's one of the reasons that's in there is to cover domestic
The
pets.
tenants should have some responsibility. If they've got cats and dogs and stuff, and the dogs are infested with fleas, they should be made to clean up after them. I know that.
I agree, but if you're talking about things like termites
Cockroaches.
or cockroaches and things like that,
But if you read it, it says,
rodents and other pests.
if his unit
insects.
is the only one
Right.
infested on the premises.
Right,
So you give some responsibility to the
you're right, I get it.
person.
Where does it say that?
I understand that.
And we just had a case where there was bed bugs. It's not the owner's problem,
He wants to
Um,
remove this.
but the fire department
This
was covered with bed
Well, if one
bugs.
apartment has
Sure.
bed bugs,
They allow
it's
cats
not
or
the
dogs.
only apartment with bed
Dog
bugs,
infests
is
the
it? I
apartment
mean, aren't they,
with
don't
fleas.
they
Is it up to
really
the
go
landlord to
everywhere?
clean the fleas?
Eventually.
I mean-
I think if the landlord allows it, yes.
It's up to you.
I don't know,
Just let that out.
I don't know.
Landlord allows the pets, the
They assume
tenants,
the
they assume the
responsibility.
responsibility. I mean, I would say if I was a landlord, no pets, then that's not an issue. And
I don't know.
but if you do allow pets, you're assuming,
I guess
They
it would
might
fall
have
back, it would
fleas.
fall back on the lease.
Right, I'm sure most people have this covered in a lease, I would imagine.
I would hope so. I mean, I don't know, yeah.
Dan?
Most people generally don't have leases. You'd be amazed at the number,
That's
the
problem.
percentage.
That's a problem.
Yeah,
Really?
that's a problem. I mean, it is a constant problem with landlords. You know, as soon as the rent isn't paid and landlord goes to evict somebody, that's all of a sudden when I have a cockroach infestation. This offsets some of that.
So if this,
Okay.
if any other unit in the complex has an issue, then it becomes the landlord's problem, if it's not solely within one, with that individual?
That would be this current draft, yes, Jim.
Okay.
like they had termites or something, it wouldn't fall back on the tenants, that was not their, their problem necessarily, but the landlord needs to step up at that point and do something.
Will you want some clarification? I think this, his dwelling unit is the only one infested, makes sense, but I also understand that, if I have it and I let my pests go around, then the next door neighbor is going to have it pretty soon, and then the next door neighbor is going to have it pretty soon. So,
Or if the infestation was still exist and they didn't realize it when they rented it? I mean, do they come into it and the fleas are already there? Who's, you know what I mean? It's the previous.
Again, this is something we're having the public take a look at also, so I'm sure we're gonna have other questions. I mean, I don't think we should
oh
make a
yes,
determination.
let's make a note of that.
With this particular situation, this would cover, I mean, this doesn't foreclose the tenant's rights against the landlord under New York state law either.
Oh,
This
okay.
just gives our office, in code enforcement, the ability to write the violation for a violation of our local law. If the tenant feels he's got recourse against the landlord, I moved in and the place was full of bed bugs when I got here, that doesn't stop him from bringing an action.
Okay, well, then I, in that case, then I do agree to leave it in.
I mean, it doesn't change the rights of the tenant to go after the landlord, or even the landlord to go after the tenant. This just gives the local law, it gives Chuck's office the ability to write a ticket and hold somebody accountable.
Okay.
Like I said, in that case, I agree to leave, I would agree to leave it
Let's think about
in.
it. I mean, we're not passing the law tonight, we're just presenting it.
When we have situations like that, it's just one more tool in my tool belt that I can go after somebody for.
Right.
If you start stripping all the codes, that would go after one person
Right.
or the landlord. Not necessarily am I going to use that section of code, but it's in there so that if there are certain cases that we would want to use it. The other problem that the doctor had was snow removal. We deleted that, that the tenants are responsible for snow removal and cutting their grass. That's out of here, and it puts it just on the landlord.
Just one more thought, because we want to get this instituted as quickly as we can
Right.
with the college kids coming back and everything. If you guys do want to make changes, we should really make the changes before the introduction tonight, because if we
Right.
do them after the public hearing in 2 weeks, then we're going to run into a situation where we have to republish and start over again.
All right,
Okay.
And
yeah.
then finance.
I don't see anything else.
What do you think? Everyone?
I'm okay with it.
Dr. Barnes?
Does it stand? We're deleting F or not?
No, stands as is.
No.
You want it to
Was
stand?
proposed.
Yep,
That's the way it is at this minute. So, and it has been that way for 10 years presumably at least.
Well, presumably many things have been this way 10 years and
Yeah.
30 years and 50 years.
Mayor, just real briefly, I realize you put all these together and you did it yourself because, of our situation in Village Hall. But could we have some more time to review these things here? Because, we're talking about this tonight and I realize it was on the agenda, but I didn't have that policy in front of me.
Didn't we send the law a couple of weeks ago?
We
Yeah.
did. The entire law, a couple of new additions or deletions, like
Where's-
Chuck was saying.
we're emailing.
But the whole law was emailed, I emailed it to you guys.
I'm talking totally with all our resolutions here.
Yeah.
My concern is, I didn't have time to go through all these. Would it be possible just to review these tonight?
I mean,
And
if
have us-
everyone wants the same thing, my problem is that college students are already here,
Mhm.
and we're trying to catch up with that. I mean, that was the reason I tried to, and we still have another 2 weeks. But I thought we can make changes between now and then. You say no.
This is
The most minor of changes we can make.
But usually after it's introduced and we have our public hearing stuff, that if we need to make major changes, we got to go back to, because think about it, we're having a public hearing based on the law that's being proposed. If we change it a bunch, then,
That's
yeah.
right.
Of course.
All I'm asking is, I appreciate what you did, it's just I didn't have time, not only that, but the rest of these here, to review all the resolutions, the different things, like the emergency water.
Well, if everyone wants the same thing, I'm just going to ask next time to, when they first send the law, just to
Well,
everybody send it.
not only for that, but all the rest of the agenda here, I just don't have time to review it. My request is
What do you
to
mean? I
table
guess-
these until maybe a special meeting later on in the week where we have a couple days to look these things over. That's all.
I think all these were sent.
It's
I
up
mean,
to you. I mean, I'm fine.
All these were not sent, Jim. These were,
I sent most of the agenda last night, but I put the law today, and I put another two resolutions today.
yes, you sent the agenda, but the resolutions themselves, I mean, I totally appreciate it. I'm not,
No, I'm fine. Yeah,
I just,
yeah.
if it's possible, I don't know what,
Well, it's up to the board.
yeah, I don't know where we stand with urgency on these matters, but like if there could be
The res, you
Are
see,
you
you're,
looking for another day this week? just to
another
get
day
together?
this week.
I'm not available this week.
you're speaking of the resolutions themselves pertaining to what the resolutions are stating. So I think the resolutions themselves are clear in what they state. I mean, it's,
It's not the point I'm stating,
No,
Jim.
excuse me,
My
are you
point-
talking about all the resolutions? or
Yes,
just this?
yes, all
So
the
you want the whole meeting to stop postponed?
I would like this to be in a workshop session and to be able to have some time to review these resolutions later on in the week.
Okay, well, let's go around. Dr. Barris? What do you think?
I think we should proceed with the meeting.
Yeah, I understand your concern, Doug, but I feel like we're here and we're all here and so I would just as soon do it now if
I
everybody
mean, you
else
want the law,
wants to.
to look at the law, but I mean, I'm not trying to push anything to anybody.
All we're
Just
doing
trying.
tonight is tabling it for a public
Hearing.
Right.
in 2 weeks, so.
Well, we're acting on other resolutions tonight, though, that we just
He's
received.
talking about the rest of the resolutions.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, you didn't even see the resolution for the waiver of the 30-day notice period for the liquor license authority thing.
right, but I did look at it, and it's fine. It's just because they're renewing their liquor license, and so that waiver we can do. It's just a 30-day
Because
requirement. As the village, it's not a
Something that the
problem.
village does.
Yep.
village-
Docket does the same thing. It's not a problem, especially with an established business.
How crunched are we on Larry's Festival of Fredonia resolution tonight? I mean, tonight is probably the last night we need.
And also the two firefighters, if we don't pass it tonight, they're not gonna have time to go to
yeah,
firefighters.
It starts tomorrow, doesn't it?
Well, the red, white, and blues thing is the same as it always is. It's the same one we do every year. It's
Yeah, I
different.
know, but I also got a message from Larry earlier today. It says, I would like to add Heenan's to join the party. They came late. We need coverage in their area for the police and to amend the DPW as necessary.
No.
But again, I have a list, it says right here, village around establishments participating in the festival, see attached list. I have no attached list of area participants.
Oh, it was downstairs.
It's on here. It's in here.
is it in that packet, or we not?
It's right here.
I can give you
Right,
one.
okay.
It's right here.
Calvera, Codlin.
Yeah,
Okay.
now, these are the list, this is
But
the list
again, I
that,
mean, he wanted to add Heenan's to this list.
I mean, do we have time to pass it later? I don't know, I think this is.
No.
I think he's under the gun here, because he's gotta have his permits and stuff in by now.
And that's why we rushed this through, with the hope that, these folks would be allowed to do, make use of our new local law this summer.
Should that be mentioned in the resolution?
What?
Local laws are local.
I mean, if they didn't get it in time, then I don't know.
I can't hear what you're saying, Jim.
It's the one thing for Heenan's. I mean, if there's an issue with that and they didn't get it in time, I mean, maybe they can't, include it. They knew what the meeting was for tonight. But if not, if you want to add it into it, then that's fine too. I mean,
Do we know if they're approved?
Right,
have
see, I
they
don't
put
know
in-
that.
Because some of the alcohol vendors, okay, would still have to file the applications and all the things that we passed last week. Do we know if they've done that?
Chuck would know that then, right? Or not?
Chuck?
Oh,
we don't
Brad,
know
oh,
that.
Brad would
Brad would
know
be
that.
the
Brad
guy
would
to
know
know.
that, right.
What you could do is you could add.
No, sorry.
You
Ready to put you on the
could,
spot.
You could add heathens to the list and make it, obviously, everybody that's on the list still has to comply, that the list is not an exemption from compliance with
The
our
list
law.
is the list that Larry sent us.
Right, so, I mean, we
that's-
can put heathens on there, and if they wind up not getting their paperwork in time, but this resolution isn't much of anything.
None of Friday's request was included in the resolution unless section E addresses only the necessary stuff for the village, question mark. Lastly, Keenan's joined the party late last week. We need coverage in and around his venue. Additional trash receptacles on both sides of Barker Commons, plus additional receptacles outside for taverns on Prospect Eagle, and also be the boundaries between September 8th and September 9th.
I guess this is where my concern is, and it is up to the entire board. I'm just putting it out there that I would like to
We
give
can
some
work
more
out some of
time,
these details
but
during this workshop. Is that something we can work out? Or do you think you're gonna need more?
Yeah, right.
time to
This
get the
is-
workshop tonight?
Yeah, I mean, you've got another half an hour here, I mean, to,
I mean, we could take a break.
and work out the detail, and, I mean,
Well, what else?
if we don't
what-
get this done in time
Yeah,
before, then they're gonna have an issue.
Let's go down the resolutions. What do you don't feel comfortable with? Let's start with that.
I thought we were still working on emergency water line getting easements. Those have all been completed.
We're not there. That's a
we're not
different
there yet.
story.
Yeah, that's.
Nothing to do with this?
No, nothing to do with
That's
this.
a different
Okay.
story.
So all we're doing tonight is working on the bidding process, correct?
Yes, they advised that they're ready to go out to bid. Truth be told, they don't know exactly yet where the easements are or how many they're gonna need. They're still working that out, but while they're working that out, there's nothing that prevents us from keeping going and putting it out to
Okay.
bid. The bid packets are ready, that's my understanding.
Okay.
Without the easements then?
Yeah, that's my understanding. I've seen the maps, we've seen the contracts. That would be different. I mean, I know, usually I would like to have the easements and everything done before the bids go out, but given the time crunch and winter's coming and everything else, when we had our conference call with them, the mayor and I, this is the way we thought we could better get things moving quickly and hope to get everything done before snowfall.
Anything else? I mean, let's go down
Okay.
the resolution, so.
Residency requirements, I think those are not an issue. We discussed those last meetings.
Okay.
Sick bank, the union agreed to that? Okay.
Yes. I spoke to Casey yesterday. We are going to sign an agreement between us and the union. I just told them my signature wasn't any good until after the vote tonight, but we're all set to go. We've had people donate those records already with Jen
They
downstairs.
brought everything in.
And we have an agreement on the union. I'm just getting it from Casey.
Can I speak generally in terms of stipends for employees? I know our union, we do MOAs, and if the union agrees to MOAs for stipends for employees above and beyond their, I guess, contractual agreed benefits or wages there, I think we need to look into that for employees here in the village.
Okay, I'm sorry, Doug, I'm not quite sure what you're talking about.
Stipends for above and beyond the normal work duties
Right.
of individuals.
Right. But I mean, I'm just wondering, I'm not sure what the question is, though.
Well, we took off our agenda last meeting to give Lori
Yep.
a stipend,
Yes, we did.
and my question is, I know it was taken off, but I know that we do MOAs and other, if the union agrees to an MOA,
Can
to
you define MOA, please?
memorandum of agreement or
Thank you.
memorandum of understanding, MOU. Is that possible?
Sure, it's possible. One of the reasons it was pulled, and there was more than one, was because there was no agreement with the union at that time. It would be an improper labor practice for us to negotiate with individual employees.
Is that something that could be looked into with KC?
Anything can be looked into. We can agree to, if you want to do something, we can agree to it. We just have to do it properly.
Okay, whatever, I mean, the reason I would just not like to lose any individuals because of things not,
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, I think there's going to be an executive session tonight to discuss some of that, yeah.
oh, okay, well, I'm just in general, that's
Yeah.
why, okay,
And
Yeah,
well, you put
let's
it in
let's
there.
just talk about it down there.
okay.
All right. Yes, I'm
Can I
sorry.
speak to that for a minute?
Of course.
Certain titles, village official positions are exempt from union. So, for example, you can have an account clerk in the title in the union position and then and hire that person also as the clerk or deputy clerk and pay a stipend or an hourly, however you want to do it. And that's not subject to you're not
Contractual.
violating any union contract. Just so you understand that.
So, we're done with that. Any problem with the authorization of the firefighters?
Well, that's fine, that's something but this is, up till discussing this tonight, we have no idea what that was on the, okay, that's fine, I'm okay with that.
And then the waiver is something that the village does quite often, actually. The resolution was given to me by Laura, it was ready from another time.
So we have actually two, right, waivers?
What?
This one says
One.
Old Main Inn.
It's the same company.
No.
Yeah.
Beaver
There's two
Club,
different things, yes.
no, Beaver Club and Old Main are two
All
different.
Main, yes, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well, we have,
Well, the other is different.
oh,
Okay, the one for the Old Main Inn is different than the one for the Beaver Club?
Mhm. Beaver Club is applying for a recertification or
And
whatever
what
it's
is-
called.
Okay, then what's the Old Main Inn? What are they doing?
All Main, they apply for new license.
They're not renewing, they're applying for a
I
new
don't
one?
think so, no.
That's odd.
Old Main Inn currently serves liquor, correct? So why would they be applying for a
Well,
new one
my
rather
understanding
than
from Laura, it was
Oh, it
the same
says-
company.
oh, you have a new owner?
Okay, so it was like,
So
that was
then-
my understanding.
That's what I was wondering, because we have a letter from the Beaver Club asking, but we don't have a letter from Old Main Inn asking. That's, I was just curious.
So
You don't have a
we
copy.
passed that on this meeting.
Okay, but there is one, they did send one, okay. Because we have the Old Main letter in this packet, we just don't have the other one, but they did send a letter.
You don't have a
asking.
copy.
Okay.
Everything that is in resolution has been notified.
Has been, yeah.
We then wrote all the resolutions, pretty much, except that one, and the budget transfers. Everything else Dan wrote.
Just curious about that.
Thank you.
So-
That's good.
Yeah, so,
Glad you asked.
I'm still, so this resolution here for Old Main Inn, DBA Old Main Inn, is the mayor is hereby authorized to sign a waiver on the 30-day liquor license notice.
Yep, yes, so they can participate, I suppose. Usually they sign, it's been a practice to sign a 30-day waiver instead of waiting for that.
See, the issue is that the local government has a lot of input on who gets a liquor license, who keeps a liquor license, all that stuff. Generally speaking, that's our time to look into, this particular business and see if we want to give them a liquor license and all that. But with it being an existing business in town, I mean, it's traditionally waived. I know Fredonia's done it in the past, Dunkirk does it all the time, it's not,
If it's under new ownership, then that'd be considered a new license.
sure, that's why they need the waiver as part of the application process. What we're doing is we're waiving our 30 days basically to investigate them.
What I'm saying is that Lori brought me the whole package, and she said, this is the resolution, this is how we usually do it. They send a letter. She gave me everything pretty much ready, so I copied it. I had other things to remember to think about, so they say just copy. You want to stop it, you can stop it.
So
I mean,
waiving
that's
30 days, what does that do? I mean, it gives them
It allows them to get their application going.
fast pass to get their?
Yeah, I mean, they just don't have to wait the month to put in the next stage of their application.
Will they be investigated though?
Well, I
Whatever
mean,
investigation that gets
We
done within
wouldn't,
30 days?
whatever investigation generally would be done by the liquor authority. I mean, if Brad had a problem, I think we would have heard about it by now, but. I mean, it isn't the kind of thing where, like, you or I are gonna go over to Old Main Inn and, start checking their, their coolers and see if they're in compliance with the ABC law. It's more just for the village to have an opportunity, if for some reason we wanted to stop them from getting a liquor license, to put those comments together and get them to the ABC board too.
So I wonder how they're fast passing the ABC and the New York State Liquor Authority then?
Well, they're not. This is a procedure that the liquor authority allows us to do, when there isn't an issue where we don't want to, we have a problem with our license, to just waive the 30-day time limit. That's all.
Okay, how about the hiring of the 2 part-timers? Actually, are we okay with that?
Mhm. Yeah, we were okay with that. Yeah. The
So,
part-timers?
I am going to recuse myself or abstain due to conflict of interest here possibly,
Okay.
Sure.
more likely.
And then we have Jim.
Is there any way to get, I talked to Jim a little beforehand, I really would feel more comfortable with a written contract of his duties and responsibilities and his compensation and terms of.
It is, the compensation is right there. It's in the resolution, read it.
I still would prefer I don't know how you feel.
Yes, Mr. Essig, I mean, I understand all that, and I really respect the fact that you want to see everything. However, there are things that are going on in the village hall that somebody by the name of treasurer has to sign. So this is, to me, a situation that we need to act now, not wait for a week, actually not wait for a day, because we are already almost out of the time to send the end of the year.
Is there any way you could come up with a proposal that would fit that can be
He
written out?
gave me the proposal, I put it down.
I gave it to her verbally. And
Okay, then I'm hearing two different things here. You put it down verbally, I don't know.
Verbally, we talked verbally, we put it in writing in your resolution.
the duties are defined in the village law.
How are you going to define, yes?
The deputy works in the absence of the treasurer. So that would be, so I would be working in the absence until you hire a treasurer. I could still stay on, but then that's up to you. I'm very flexible. I mean, as long as, you are controlling my hours of work. The only thing I've given you a rate per hour. And I think there's the price
Up to
not to
30 hours,
exceed.
yes, up to 30 hours.
It can be extended, which would require, I don't know if you put a time, is there a time?
We did not put a time, we did not put a time just because,
Okay, so-
Dan didn't think we needed a
So there's no
time.
timetable, but then, again, anytime you determine that you don't need to have a deputy treasurer, you don't need me, fine. You would just,
I mean, as I said, my hope would be that you do the things that we need to be done right now, and then help a little bit with the new treasurer to ease their way in it.
Are you comfortable then with the way that's written in
yes,
the
I'm
resolution?
comfortable with
Okay, all right,
with what the mayor wrote down, and
okay.
it's pretty much.
It was not very
what I-
complicated, was it? All right, and Jim gave you a budget update, actually.
Yeah, we got that there. Attaches the scheduled budget transfers for fiscal year pursuant to section.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so we are okay with everything, I suppose.
The only other thing I have under new business, I received an email from Colleen Yurko regarding our baskets, our flower baskets. Apparently, this year, we were under the gun, and unfortunately, we didn't get the pick of the litter. So she was requesting that if we decide to use their services next year for our baskets in the park, that she can order the supplies in September like she does the rest of the municipalities in our area. So I don't know if this is something that's budgeted through our DPW. Is this something we have to put out to bid?
I think it's budgeted. I'm not sure if they do put it
Okay.
to bid, because it was always done through that department.
Okay.
So I'm not sure how either Jack Bolland or Perry did it up to now.
Okay.
But it's something for the new director to decide.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do, well, according to her, she'd like to have a decision here soon because she does start ordering the plants in September for next year. This way, we're not getting what's
Yes,
left
like
in the
this one.
greenhouse.
I know.
So,
Can she give you a cost estimate?
$69 a basket is what she charges Dunkirk and other municipalities. So it's a flat fee for pretty much everybody. I don't know how many baskets we
I don't know
have.
how many baskets
Yeah, I don't
we have.
either. It's something I.
Okay, well,
I think
I think as soon
it would
as
have to be
Tony comes
something
in.
that could fit within that department's budget. Because
It is,
otherwise,
but he has to actually
Let's
order
just
them.
bring it up with him so that we can
Yeah.
let her know, because the baskets, I think, this year look beautiful. She did
Yeah,
a
they
really
did
nice
a
job.
phenomenal
Even
job.
if though
with
it was
what they
last
had.
minute and what they had,
Yeah.
I think they're some of the prettiest baskets we've had.
Okay.
Do I understand correctly that the Rotary Club has been hanging the baskets?
I think our
In the
DPW
last
Yeah,
10
I
years?
think so.
DPW hangs them, yeah.
No, hanging, the DPW does that.
Okay, I'm mistaken.
They may kick in to pay for part of it, I don't know. I mean, do we have? Okay.
Usually they come and they plant some plants around, gazebo.
But we basically handle the planters.
But yes,
Okay.
the big planters we
All right.
do. I mean, by all means, anybody can buy one, or two, or 10. Right.
Other business?
I think the village hall front steps, I'm just gonna, after I put it here, and I apologize, I didn't take it off, I spoke with Mr. Gazzino, and he has some ideas, which we're going to discuss as soon as he's here.
Okay.
So by the next meeting.
Okay.
That's it, I'm not pulling it or
Have we
anything.
paid for
Next-
an
it'll be
engineer's
the next
report on
meeting.
that? Or have we
Next
solicited
meeting,
an
yeah.
engineer's report on
Mhm.
that?
We have. When
All
does
right.
Tony start, Mayor? I'm sorry.
Tony's the
Next week.
4th.
Okay. Right after.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to executive, please.
Sure. I hereby make a motion to enter an executive session to discuss personnel matters.
I'll second it.
Trustee Barris?
I oppose because I think we should have our meeting at 7 PM. And we're almost there. Can we
Right.
meet after?
Can we
complete the
start
work?
now?
Sorry?
Can we
We
start
could
now?
start, and then
Let's-
if we need to come back, we could go back afterwards. If we have to stop and come back.
I just think we
You know,
should start
For
now.
10 minutes?
Yeah.
I have no idea what's,
Well, it's 1:45, so we got 15
What?
minutes.
Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Trustee Linden?
Yes.
Trustee Briggs?
Yes.
Trustee Esselman?
Yes.
We'll be back.
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. I call this meeting to order. At the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia, duly called and held on the 27th day of August 2018 at 7:04 p.m. in the Trustees Room, second floor, Village Hall, Fredonia, New York, and public notice of the time and place of this meeting has been given to the news media and conspicuously posted in one or more designated public locations in accordance with Section 104 of the Open Meetings Law.
I make a motion for trustee Barris to take the minutes of the meeting.
Anybody second?
I'll second that.
Trustee Christina,
Yes.
Trustee Linden,
Aye.
Trustee Briggs,
Yes.
Trustee Esser.
Yes.
And now I understand, Dr. Barris, you sent the minutes?
I delivered the minutes of the last meeting to the trustee.
However, I don't have them, so I
I
don't
did
put
not
them. Yeah.
deliver one to you.
And so-
So can we pass them next time? Can we approve them next time?
Yeah, we'll have
Okay.
several, we'll have to pass next
Yeah.
time.
All right. All right, for my report tonight, I'd like to touch base a little bit and talk about the emergency water line replacement. We had one conference call with Brian and Gear and also with our attorney. And then I had a long meeting with them, because I really wanted to see where exactly we were and why we are not progressing the way I wanted to. Apparently, there are some problems with easements, specifically. They don't know exactly where the easements are, who to go to, how to get the information so our attorney can actually draw the easements. Now, we had some ideas, and you had some ideas, so we are going to try to get them in the next few days. However, by tonight, I believe the whole proposal, the whole plan has been delivered to the Department of Health in Chautauqua County and to the state for review. It is their proposal that by next week, by end of next week, they're going to have a bidding packet put together, and we're going to give about 4 weeks to the companies to reply. If that timetable is able to stand, if we are able to follow this timetable, they believe that by end of November or beginning of December, the construction will have been done, finished. So this is all the information I have. I'm a little nervous about the easements, and our attorney is as well, but that's all the information I have about that. Now, we had a very good weekend with the Farms Festival. Very good time. The weather cooperated perfectly. And a lot of people, many vendors. I had an excellent time down there. Beautiful parade. I want to thank all the organizers. I want to thank all the vendors. And I want to thank the people who came down and visited all. So that was the second thing. The third thing, I want to welcome all the new students to SUNY Fredonia this year as we start again. This year, I understand this is the largest class, entering class in the SUNY's history, SUNY Fredonia's history. So we're very happy about that. We're very proud and looking forward for a very productive year. Now, next Wednesday, which is, what did I say, the 14th? Not this Wednesday, next Wednesday. 2 weeks from now, right? I don't want to get the number, the 12th, yes. The college organizes the second annual Founders Day. I want to welcome everyone at 7 o'clock at the Opera House to come and celebrate with us. It's a very good occasion, and I want to encourage and invite everyone to come and celebrate with us that. And lastly, as you know, we're still looking for some people to hire. We're looking for clerks. So please, if you thought about it and never came, this is the time. So that's my report. Dr. Barris.
I have no comments.
Trustee Christina.
I don't have a report per se, but there will be a report coming soon regarding the Cable Advisory Board and the negotiations that we're trying to to do. But there's obviously some issues with Spectrum Charter, so some of the Cable Advisory Board members are going to come. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the process and what's going on and where we are.
That's great.
So something to look forward to.
Okay, very good, great.
That's it.
I have no report today.
Trustee Briggs.
I don't have any reports tonight.
Trustee Eslick.
Yes, I just wanted to also comment about the Farm Festival. I think it was a fantastic weekend. Started Friday with hose races, Saturday with Ruthie Collins having a great concert, and then yesterday with the parade that we walked in, which was really nice. The weather cooperated fully. I'd like to thank the committee there on the Farm Festival committee. They did a great job. It was the 50th year of our Farm Festival, and I think the mayor said everybody had a great time. The vendors, I think, did well, and I thank everybody again for the work they did on the Farm Festival committee.
Thank you. Mr. Gant, do you have any?
Nothing, City Mayor, thank you.
Okay. And then we have the reports. I guess I get the reports. The Fredonia Fire Department, we had a total of 7 incidents of fire, 107 rescue and EMS, 3 hazardous conditions, no fire, 6 service calls, 20 good intent call, 13 false alarm and false call, and for a grand total of 156 incidents. Then have the police department, where there were 626 incidents reported, 21 accidents, 27 arrests, 23 vehicle and traffic, and 15 parking tickets. And finally, the code enforcement were issued 25 permits that generated $3,395 in revenue. The estimated cost of work for the month was $249,697, and 2 stop work orders. Good correspondence. Correspondence was received from Fredonia Beaver Club notifying the village that they will be renewing their on-premise liquor license. And second, correspondence was received from Festival Fredonia requesting permission to use the gazebo and Barking Common for the annual Red, White and Blues Festival, September 7th and 8th, 2018.
Are we going to read this as it says? Or
Just read
pending
that.
or, okay. Be it resolved that the request from Festivals Fredonia to use the gazebo on Barker Common Saturday, September 8th, 2018 for the annual Red, White, and Blues Festival is hereby approved and as set forth below. A, use of Barker Common, both sides of the gazebo from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. B, to bag parking meters for designating no parking around the entire perimeter of West Barker Common, including both sides on Park Place and Church Street and the north side of Main Street. Musicians and vendors will use this space for loading and unloading. C, to close Church Street from Temple Street to Center Street to allow for placement of tents. D, picnic tables placed in the gazebo side of Barker Common. E, additional trash receptacles on both sides of Barker Commons, plus additional receptacles outside taverns on Prospect Street and Water and Main Street. These will also act as boundaries for plastic containers of alcohol outside the establishments as done in the previous years until 11 p.m. on Friday, September 7th, 2018, and Saturday, September 8th, 2018. F, close Water Street between Canada Way to Main Street from noon to midnight. G, to close the alleyway parking lot driveway between DeJohn's and Elegantville Brew Pub and the alleyway parking lot from Fred's to Eagle Street on Saturday, September 8th, 2018. H, to suspend the open container law within Barker Common and throughout Village around the establishments participating in the festival. to allow for beverage trucks and wineries to operate near the park from noon until midnight, and be it further resolved that the event is subject to the village receiving a certificate of insurance in the amount of $1 million, naming the village as an additional insured, and the village has received and subject to the direction of the Fredonia Police Department.
Before I second that, I got one addition, where it says participating in the festival, the establishments participating in the festival, see attached list. I'd like to strike Olivero, which was canceled, and add Heenan to the 1 o'clock time slot, allowing our police department to adequately get their patrols and what they need to know regarding who's participating in this festival. And the only other question I have is, it says to close the alleyway parking lot between D. John's and Elkett Brew and alleyways from Fred's to Eagle Street. Is there a time limit between that? Is there a start time and a close time? Does anyone know?
I suppose for the whole duration of the festival.
Okay. I'll go ahead and second the resolution.
Trustee Barris.
I abstain.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
Yes.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
I'd like to open the public portion. Anybody from the public wants to address the board? And everybody said no, so I'm closing the public portion. And let's go to resolutions.
Whereas the village board previously approved the emergency water line replacement project on May the 21st, 2018, and whereas O'Brien and Gear has advised that the project is ready to begin the bidding process, therefore be it resolved, the OBG is hereby authorized to put the project out to public bid.
I second that.
Trustee Barris.
I vote aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
Yes.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
Whereas the residency requirement for appointed officials contained in the New York State Public Officers Law can be modified to include residents within the county in which the political subdivision is located by a resolution of the board, and whereas the ability to draw from a larger candidate pool to benefit to the village, and whereas the employee's ability to live within the county promotes the recruitment and retention of otherwise qualified individuals. Therefore, be it resolved, the requirement that the village attorney be a resident of the village of Fredonia is hereby expanded to include residency within the county of Chautauqua.
I second the resolution. I vote aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
Yes.
Trustee Essek.
Yes. Whereas the residency requirement for appointed officials contained in the New York State Public Officers Law can be modified to include residency within the county in which the political subdivision is located by resolution of the board, and whereas the ability to draw from a larger candidate pool is beneficial to the village, and whereas the employee's ability to live within the county promotes the recruitment and retention of otherwise qualified individuals, therefore be it resolved that the requirement that the public works supervisor be a resident of the village of Fredonia is hereby expanded to include residency within the county of Chautauqua.
I second that.
I vote aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
Yes.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
Whereas CSEA Local 1000 AFSCME AFL-CIO and the Village of Fredonia desire to create a one-time sick bank for the benefit of employee Jennifer Marks McCula. And whereas certain village employees have offered to donate a portion of their time off accruals to said sick bank. And whereas the CSEA Local 1000 AFSCME AFL-CIO and the village agrees that this shall not constitute a precedent or past practice. Therefore, be it resolved, the village board hereby approves of the creation of a one-time sick bank for the benefit of Jennifer Marks McCula.
I second that motion.
I vote aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
Yes.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
Whereas the Fire and Emergency Medical Mutual Aid Program benefits the village of Fredonia, as well as surrounding communities. And whereas it is particularly beneficial that the Fredonia firefighters participate in the program's specialized team. Therefore, be it resolved that the following firefighters are hereby authorized to participate in the Fire and Emergency Medical Mutual Aid Program's Chautauqua County Special Teams. Dan Aldrich, Julius Leone Jr., Anthony Faso, E. Lawrence Barter, Benjamin Aldrich. And be it further resolved that these firefighters' participation will be covered under the village's workers' compensation insurance.
I second that resolution.
Trustee Barris.
I vote aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
Yes.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
Be it resolved that the mayor is hereby authorized to sign a waiver on the 30-day liquor license notice for the Old Main Inn Incorporated, DBA, the Old Main Inn, 24 Water Street, Fredonia, New York.
I second that.
Trustee Barris.
I abstain.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
Yes.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
Be it resolved that the following individuals are hereby appointed as part-time firefighter medics with the Village of Fredonia Fire Department, pending compliance with all applicable civil service rules and regulations. Benjamin Pickard and Alexander Hallberg, and be it further resolved that these positions shall be compensated at a rate of $15 per hour without benefits.
I second that.
Trustee
I
Barris.
vote aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
Yes.
Trustee Essek.
Abstain.
Whereas the Village of Fredonia has an immediate need for the services of a village treasurer, and whereas James Sedota has personal knowledge of the village's records and procedures, now, therefore, be it resolved that James Sedota is hereby temporarily appointed to the position of deputy treasurer, and be it further resolved that Mr. Sedota be compensated at a rate of $35 per hour, up to a maximum of 30 hours per week without benefits.
I second.
Trustee Barris.
I vote aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
Yes.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
Be it resolved that the attached schedule of budget transfers for the fiscal year 2017-2018 pursuant to Section 5-520 of the village law is hereby approved.
I second that, and I just have one just quick discussion. Jim, you looked over it with all the different stuff that's been going on, everything looks great?
Yeah, and
Okay.
Jim went over it with me.
Okay, good.
So it's,
Thank you.
mhm.
Did you second it?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Trustee
I
Barris.
vote aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
Yes.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
Now, the way this is going to work is that, Mr. Briggs, you just read the introduction to the law, the first few lines, and then Mr. Barris, Dr. Barris, was supposed to read the next part when we call for the table this resolution and call for public hearing. All right?
Intro to local law number 3-2018, Village of Fredonia, a local law to amend chapter 179 of the Fredonia Village Code entitled Housing Standards.
That's Barris.
Section 2. Amendment of the
No,
village
the-
code. What?
Are you reading this? We have the table resolution. I'm sorry. Where is?
Yeah, just tell them, now we go to the table.
You want me to read the
Yeah,
second
just the
paragraph?
last
Be it
one, yeah.
resolved that said amendments be tabled for a public hearing at 7:30 PM on September the 10th, 2018.
I'll second that.
Trustee Barris.
I vote aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
Yes.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
Alright. So, this is the last one. And I would like a resolution to go into executive session. Motion, please.
Make a motion that we enter into executive session to discuss Personnel matters.
Anybody second it?
I'll second that.
Trustee Barris.
Aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
Yes.
Trustee Essay.
Yes.
Thank you very much for coming.